Hi there, this is Pauline Chen, and I'm doing a screencast on Newton's first law and Newton's third law. Okay, so Newton's first law is an object with a constant velocity will continue to travel in a constant velocity unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. So, and then, with that, if the net force or the sum of all the forces acting on an object is equal to zero, that would mean the acceleration is also zero, and that actually, you can also argue that if the acceleration is zero, the net force is also zero. But then, with that, you can conclude that if the net force is not zero, so if you add all the forces together and it's not zero, you can conclude that acceleration also isn't zero. And so you can think of it as like, let's say there's a table, um and it's just there and it's not moving, right? And so it would have a constant velocity of zero. Now, so if it has a constant velocity of zero, that would mean that the force is pushing it up, so the normal force, and the force is pushing it down, so the gravitational force, those are balanced. So they're the same, but going in the opposite direction. And so that's the reason why it's not moving. But then when there's another force, let's say my hand, and my hand pushes the table over, the net force is no longer zero. So then, and because it moved over, that would mean that it's no longer constant velocity, and the acceleration is no longer zero. The table would then have acceleration. So the cool thing about Newton's first law is it ties together what we've been doing for the semester. So it's connected, or it's telling us the reason why things move, and like the connection of acceleration and um forces. So yeah. So there you go. Okay, so Newton's third law is also known as the law of interaction. Um, and so it's just saying that an interaction involves two objects, and then one interaction has two equal forces going in the opposite direction, and then one force is half of an interaction. So if you see here, there are two objects, right? So that's the first part of the book. There are two objects. There's box A and box B. Well, and then it says the second bullet is one interaction involves two equal forces going in the opposite direction. So we can see that with arrows. So the red arrow represents the force of A on B, and the blue arrow shows the force of B on A. And you can see that B is pushing A up, but A is also pushing B down. So the so one force is half an interaction. So this arrow is just half of the interaction of A and B. And this blue arrow is also only half of the interaction between A and B. But this arrow, the red arrow, shows the force of A on B, and the blue arrow shows the force of B on A. So you can see that one force is only half of an interaction, because the interaction would include both arrows in this whole system right here. But one arrow only shows the force of one box on the other. So, law of interactions. That's it. Okay, I'm done.